Tennessee This Week from WATE 6 on your side starts now.
Hello and welcome to Tennessee This Week. I'm Blake Stevens. Former Knox County Sheriff J.J. Jones is asking for his old job back. He was term limited by the county charter, but after a 4-year break, he would be eligible to serve again. I sat down with him to talk about why.
Well, I think my number one concern is employee retention. Since September of 2018, the sheriff's office that has roughly 1,050 employees has lost over 320 positions. Of those positions that have been rehired, approximately 33% of those have left within 1 year. I attribute that to poor leadership and poor pay. I'm running because I want to change the leadership. And I'm also going to be an advocate of a raise for our certified officers of anywhere from 8 to 10% and probably 4 to 5% for non-certified officers. And I think we can do that without a tax increase.
Now, Sheriff Spangler has kind of gone back and forth with County Commission before as they go and go through their budget process. Are you saying he's not doing enough in way of pay?
I don't know. I'm not sure what he's asked for in his upcoming budget. I'm just saying that between the poor leadership and the poor amount of pay, if you have one and not the other, sometimes you can make it. If the leadership is good but the pay is bad, a lot of times officers won't leave. And I'm talking about these are police officers. These are officers who, when you call, they come to your house. In our school division right now, we're down almost anywhere between 11 and 13 officers in our school division from what it was when I was the sheriff. That's one of the most precious things we have in public safety is our children. We can't continue to lose officers at the rate we're losing.
Now, I know recruitment is an issue facing agencies across the country, sure. And I just did a story with another agency in our viewing area. Do you think, you don't think it's just part of what we're seeing?
I would take this as an advantage if I was a sheriff. There are so many officers leaving departments that they don't like. You have such an array of great officers to pick from. What a great place to come to, East Tennessee, lakes and parks and all the things that we have here. I think you could certainly recruit some great officers with still many years left to go in their career to come here and help our community. When
you say poor leadership, what do you point to off the bat?
Well, I think that the leadership didn't realize what the problems were here. This is the third largest county in the state of Tennessee. Almost 1,100 employees. I think they came and they thought this was going to be just a simple task. The sheriff now, he worked at Blount County. This is not Blount County. It's a whole different ballgame.
And you mentioned your time in service for both Knoxville Police Department and your more than 30 years at the Sheriff's Office. You were appointed after Sheriff Hutchison was term limited.
I was appointed after Sheriff Hutchison was term limited. Then I was unappointed, and the current sheriff, who was my chief deputy, took over as the acting sheriff. Then I was elected, and then I ran another 4-year term and was elected a second 4-year term.
Okay, and you were explaining to me how it works. You're term limited, you take a break, and you're eligible again. But for a person out there who may not be familiar with that, and they think term limited and then running again, does that not defeat the purpose of term limits?
Well, the way it was set up is that you could only run 2 consecutive 4-year terms. A term consists of a whole 4 years. So the 2 years that I was appointed first didn't count as a whole term. So actually, that didn't count as a whole term, and then I got 2 more 4-year terms, which was a total of 10 years. But the charter also says you have to sit out for 4 years before you can run again. And not only could you run for the position I was in, I could run for any position in Knox County.
So you're saying it's not a loophole. They specifically wanted that 4-year gap at least.
Yes, I had to sit out from being the sheriff at least 4 years.
Okay, and you mentioned you could run for any office. I wanted to ask about your brief run for county mayor, and I just wanted to ask, maybe if you'd revisit that a little bit and
Sure.
maybe talk about why you.
I had named a treasurer to run for Knox County mayor. My mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and so I withdrew from the race for that. And she passed away January the 7th of this year. So it's been 3 years.
So it's been, it hasn't been a break from public service. It's really been a tough time for you and your family.
It was certainly a learning experience. Anybody that's had to deal with Alzheimer's is they've got my best wishes, because it's not an easy thing.
I've read in a couple sources that Lee Trammell was sort of your handpicked successor. If he were sheriff today, would we be here? Would you be running again?
Probably not. I would say most definitely not. I think Lee understood the concept of what was happening at the sheriff's office. He had been there. He'd come up through the ranks, and so no, I don't think I would be running if Lee Trammell was the sheriff.
And I noticed in 2014 you carried that primary, your last primary, with 57% of the overall vote. Are you confident going into this that you would be elected again?
Well, the citizens of Knox County have always been great to me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think that I will certainly do well.
And you have 8 years or 10 years really of running on. What are some of the things you did at your time at the helm that you would?
Well, I think another thing that I would talk about is the inmate work programs. When I left the sheriff's office, we were doing over 125,000 man hours a year. 125,000 man hours for the community. That was to provide work for churches, schools, cemeteries. We did all kinds of things all over the community for nonprofit organizations. That program has completely stopped. They even helped put the vehicles together, radios and cages in police cars. We have 35 cars sitting up at Fleet right now with nobody to put them together, because we're not utilizing that manpower. And I know we use the virus as a crutch sometimes when we really don't need to, but these people, 90% of what they do is work outside. They work for nonprofit organizations. We could certainly test them. We could certainly check their temperatures. We could certainly do all the things that we're doing to keep us safe. So I feel like that's a vital program that needs to be restarted in Knox County.
Now, Sheriff Spangler has put a big spotlight on the jail overcrowding problem in Knox County. Do you think that was something that was overdue, or do you?
I think that's been overdue in all of the United States. But what people don't understand is, yes, our jail numbers are down at the detention facility. I was never able to have only 950 prisoners. I always had 13 to 15 to 1,600 every day. But people don't realize now we have 2,700 people in pre-trial release. So there's actually 2,700 people out there that have committed a crime, and if we weren't overcrowded, they would be either be in jail or being dealt with in the criminal justice system.
287G.
Sure.
Now, a lot has changed since you were sheriff. I know it hasn't been that long ago, but a lot's changed federally and locally. We've seen some federal pushback under the new administration, and we've seen ongoing controversy. When Sheriff Spangler decided to continue that program, we've seen, like I said, local controversy and federal pushback. Has your thought process on that program changed any?
Absolutely not. And what I would have done when these court decisions came out about the information that they wanted, we could have shown them the information that they wanted. It proves that this process worked as it was. The number of people that were deported or taken back was well less than 1%. This program was aimed at the baddest of the bad, the people that we want removed from our community. And those statistics show that this program did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Has the climate changed? Has the job changed since you were there?
Absolutely, it's changed. Absolutely. It seems like the public has a little different attitude toward law enforcement officers. And I think that's what we need to work. I don't think enough's being done to explain to them what jobs we have, what we have to do. You hear this defund the police and all these types of things. That's not, all that does is hurt minority communities. Those are the people who need the police the most. And when you start taking police out of our community, all you're doing is hurting the community.
Well, current Sheriff Tom Spangler has named a campaign treasurer. We'll work to get him on this program with plenty of time before the primary next year. In the meantime, we did get a statement from Sheriff Spangler. He touted accomplishments including 6% pay raises in 2019 for employees at the rank of captain and below, $1,500 pay bonuses for employees last year, as well as restoring programs such as Explorer, Citizens Academy, and DARE, as well as cutting the number of chiefs in that office and using that money to hire more correctional and patrol staff. Spangler gave us a statement. Part of it reads, quote, "I am proud of what we as a team have accomplished in just over 2 years. There are many more goals I want us to check off the list together. I'm also very proud of all the men and women who make up the Knox County Sheriff's Office family. They serve this county with pride and dedication. It's my highest honor to be their sheriff. Therefore, I will be running in 2022. I'm committed to these men and women, and I'm committed to Knox County."